That's music. Another one.
Rave talk, oh, we talking that rave talk. Safe talk, here we go, talking that safe talk.
Major key alert.
Oh, we good now. Major bag alert.
DJ Khaled.
Broadcasting live from the Fenger High School studios. Here is WASM. Here are your hosts, Aisha McMurray and Jamira Porter. Our field anchors, Juwan Buchanan and Everett Washington. Tisha Jones. Ashley Smith. Shamar Hunter. James Hayden. Mariah Johnson. Yvonne Williams with entertainment. And Duke and Royal with sports. And now, from our Southside studio, this is WASM, Christian Fenger High School.
Good morning and welcome to WASM News. I am your host, Jamira Porter.
And I am Aisha McMurray, here with your top stories. All pregnant women should be screened for Zika virus every prenatal visit, says the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention on Monday. The advice from CDC came as federal health officials also urged women who are pregnant or are considering becoming pregnant to avoid a Miami neighborhood that is the site of the Zika outbreak. Zika can cause catastrophic birth defects in developing fetuses, including microcephaly, which results in abnormally small skull and, in most cases, incomplete brain development. The CDC Director Tom Frieden was quoted as saying, "Aggressive mosquito control measures don't seem to work as well as we have liked, seeing as the controlling of Zika cases is proving difficult." The Miami cases are a major development because, with the exception of one Zika case related to a lab accident, all infections in the U.S. until now had been diagnosed in people who had traveled abroad or those who had sex with a traveler. Although Zika is spread by mosquitoes, both men and women can transmit the virus sexually.
President Obama praised the families of American service members killed in the action on Monday, August 1st, telling a veterans group that those families have made a sacrifice that most of us can't even begin to imagine. Obama's comments comes after 5 days of headlines following a passionate denunciation of Trump by Kaiser Khan, the father of Captain Humayun Khan, who died in 2004 in Iraq while trying to save his unit from suicide bombers. Khan said Trump smears the character of Muslims. Trump responded by attacking Khan's wife, suggesting that she was not allowed to speak at the Democratic convention because she was a Muslim woman. President Obama later requested he be introduced at the Democratic National Convention by Gold Star mother Sharon Belcourt of Ohio, whose son was killed in Afghanistan.
Senator Mark Kirk and Tammy Duckworth both called out presidential candidate Donald Trump on Monday over his war awards with the parents of a fallen Army captain. Kirk, who revoked his backing of Trump in early June, saying attacking a Gold Star family is inappropriate. Later Monday, Democrat Tammy Duckworth called Trump's statements despicable and expressed her condolences for the Khan family loss.
New York will be one of the first states to restrict sex offenders from using Pokemon Go and similar games, saying there are concerns the popular apps could leave children helpless to predators. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo on Monday directed the State Department of Corrections and Community Supervision to try to limit sex offenders from playing Pokemon Go. The concern is that the reality game can be used to lure players near the residence of sex offenders.
In local news, Chicago is poised to see the number of homicides in July dip from June, but the city is still on pace to see more people killed in 2016 than last year. There are 65 homicides in Chicago in July, according to Chicago police. There were 71 homicides in the city in June and 66 in May. The homicide count kept by the Chicago Sun-Times and the police department does not include fatal shootings by the police. On July 28th, 18-year-old Paul O'Neill was shot and killed by the police in South Shore neighborhood. A body camera worn by the Chicago police officer who fatally shot an 18-year-old man last week was not recorded at the time of the shooting and did not record the incident, police said Monday.
Moments before Paul O'Neill was shot and killed in the South Shore neighborhood on July 28th this year. He had rammed the Jaguar he was driving into one police car and sideswiped another. 2 officers fired at O'Neill, who was unarmed, while he was still in the car. A third officer, who police said fired the fatal shot, opened fire on O'Neill after he had exited the car, hitting him in the back. Superintendent Eddie Johnson decided the day after to strip the 3 officers of their police powers and assign them to desk duty. Johnson said he believed their actions violated official policy.
So why are people dying here in the city of Chicago? 2 of our field reporters, Everett and Juwan, talked to some of the Chicago Police Department, and here's what they had to say.
Did you know that there were 60 people killed and 40 wounded during the weekends of July 8th in the city of Chicago? On average, at least 15 people died during the weekends of July. Why are people dying? Here's Everett with more.
How many black African Americans got shot this year? Police killed more than 100 unarmed black African Americans in 2016. There are 1.8 violent crimes per 1,000 people enrolled.
So why are so many people dying? We sat down with 2 officers from Chicago Police Department to find out what they think about violence in the community and police brutality.
My name is Officer Jenkins. I work out of the 5th District.
Tim. I grew up on the South Side. I love the area that I work in. From Roseland, West Pullman, Allgale, and I love it. Just like many of you guys grew up in our community, in the hood. Didn't like the police, didn't mess with the police, but somehow, some way, I ended up finding that it can make a big difference on the other side. My grandfather was an activist that worked with Dr. King. I love my culture. I love my people. We don't get to see people at their best all the time. We get to see people at their worst. I hate seeing black on black crime. Somebody made a statement about 6-7 months ago on Facebook, and I read it, and I thought it was very true. The statement was, you don't have to be racist just because you support Donald Trump, but every racist supports Donald Trump. And I thought that was an interesting statement. And I guess the way I'm looking at it is, not every officer that does something wrong that's Caucasian is racist. But I think without racism, we wouldn't have those misunderstandings.
Probably, I would also go along with lack of understanding, but I would really probably go along with lack of communication. That the communication lines aren't clear, and without communication, the lack of understanding is going to be there. If I can't talk to you, then I'm going to assume some stuff about you that may or may not be true.
See, one of the things that happens nowadays, and this happens a lot, is Officer Jenkins is here to arrest me, and she's grabbing my arm about to put me under arrest. And right then, she has the right to up her level of force because I am now resisting. Real quick, guy runs up to my car, he says, hey, this dude robbed me at gunpoint yesterday, and here's my case report. I was like, so what do you want me to do, sir? He said, well, the dude is right down the street in the car, right where he robbed me at yesterday. We get close to that point, he said, yeah, that's him right there. So he's now positively identified to me the guy that robbed him at gunpoint. So I jump out the car, put the gun in the man's face and say, let me see your hands, get out the car. He gets out the car, this dude is huge. You understand? This dude is a monster. He's monstrous. So I'm like, put your hands on the hood. He put his hands on the hood. I go to trying to frisk him and everything, check him out. Now I'm ready to put my handcuff on. So I put my gun up, I'm ready to handcuff him. He snatches away, he starts running, okay? And I told you how big he was, right? He gonna run far. So I ran, jumped on him, and we fight. It take a little while, he get tired, I get the best of him, clamp, he in cuffs. I look up, and there's 4 people sitting up there from the 2nd floor window recording with their cell phone. Now the question is, does it look like I did something legal as an officer or illegal? I jumped out of the car, put a gun in a black man's face for no reason, right? Pulled him out the car and commenced to whooping his tail, right? But that's not the real story. That's just what they got on film. What the real story is, when he stood up, the gun fell on the floor of the car. He had a big gun too.
The one he robbed with?
Right. But the point is that if you just watching the video, all you think is, that's a bad officer, picking on that man that wasn't bothering nobody, he wasn't doing nothing to nobody. The reality is, you don't know what's going on the radio.
I do.
So, a video sometimes shows you one side, but you're really not seeing the whole story.
Tim said something very important, and maybe that's a next time conversation. And he said, you guys need to know your rights, know what's real, and know what's not real. Because a lot of times we go off of bogus information, and we think, you think you know, but you don't know. The officer is supposed to give you their name if you ask for it. Most of them will not. That's a violation right there. If you ask for the officer's name, they're supposed to give it to you. So when they don't, or if they don't, you're pretty smart. Read their name tag. Get the car number. Get the beat number. Remember the time that it happened. And then tell your parents what happened. And let them file the report on your behalf.
And my personal opinion is that our biggest problem is that we're not a part of the solution. We have to become lawyers. We have to become judges and politicians and policemen to protect our own community so that there is representation there.
So in order for us to stop the violence in our communities, we are going to have to do it ourselves by becoming lawyers, judges, and police officers so that we can change the outcome of our areas.
And more importantly, becoming model citizens by cleaning up our communities and taking pride in our neighborhoods and each other. That way we can build on fixing the problems in the areas and not dependent on the police who have to walk in situations every day that they know nothing about. Back to you, Asia.
Lack of jobs is another reason for communities. Here is Mariah with more of the story.
In today's world, the security of having a job is not so secure. According to the Chicago magazine in 2015, the decline of employment stems from the growing number of people moving away from the area. During the economic collapse in the early 2000s, it was thought that Chicago business would help the restructure of the economy through manufacturing and the automotive industry. But as the country slowly recovered, it became more evident that those manufacturing and automotive business hadn't recovered like it had planned, leaving thousands of people unemployed and looking for work.
Ashley talks to us about preventing STDs, the causes and the symptoms, visible and non-visible. Here's Ashley with more.
Have you ever wondered about the symptoms of STDs? STDs are mostly among young people. You can prevent STDs by using condoms. Some STD symptoms are not visible. STDs are sexually transmitted diseases. STDs are diseases that are passed from one person to another. Through sexual contact, these include chlamydia, gonorrhea, genital herpes, HPV, syphilis, and HIV. Sexually transmitted diseases affect more than 12 million Americans each year, many of whom are teenagers or young adults. Adolescents ages 15 to 24 account for nearly half of the 20 million new cases of STDs each year. So what can we do to stop the spread of STDs? You should use latex and non-latex condoms every time you have sex. Avoid sharing towels and underclothes. Wash before and after intercourse. Get vaccinated for hepatitis B. Get tested for HIV. Consider that not having sex is the only sure way to prevent STDs. Back to you guys.
For Michael Costco, work is more than just a 9-to-5 job. The environmental science teacher is trekking across the globe on a mission to bring back valuable lessons to his students at Al Raby High School in Chicago. Costco is one of the 4 American teachers attend a technology exchange program this summer, and hopes to bring new problem-solving methods he can teach to his students.
When high school students enter as freshmen, they have no idea how fast senior year is approaching, and most seniors don't know the changes they have to make to transition into college life. What college will I choose? How do I know if I will be accepted into the college I want to attend? Will I have enough money to go to college and finish what I have started? These are the key questions that every senior in high school has asked themselves. And here at WASM, we hope that we can answer these key questions for furthering your education. Here is Jamira with more.
Figuring out which college you would like to attend is a complicated choice. There are over 4,000 colleges in America alone, and with only so much room left, how do you know which college is right for you?
Far or near? You have to be honest with yourself on what you think you can handle. A lot of students return from studying in out-of-state colleges because they are homesick or can't handle the independence of being away. Remember that choosing a college is to graduate, not to visit another state.
What is my GPA and ACT score? Your grade point average is very important to you for finding which college will accept you. Every college has expectations, so it is important that you will find out what they are in order to attend.
Your ACT score is very important in your acceptance into college. You must at least score an 18 on your ACTs in order to attend most colleges without having to take alternative routes. Make sure you sign up for ACT prep classes that are usually provided by your high school to give yourself an advantage.
Finally, will I have enough money? Well, with tuition fees going up and funding going down, it's a concern to people like you and I on how we can afford to go to college in the first place. Well, here are a couple of things you can do to make the blow of college tuition a little easier. Each year, there are more than $46 billion given to students in grants and scholarships to help with the financial burdens of college. There are also $2.9 billion in unclaimed scholarship money. The Unlimited Scholarship Book 2017 is a great way to find scholarships. They may fit you if you are not an athlete. You can find this book at Target, Barnes, and Nobles in your local library.
Here at Christian Fenger, there are 3 programs trying to impact students in their own way. One being the station you are watching right now, a culinary art class led by Chef Alexander and Taylor, and a Green Corp. Jamira and Shamara had a chance to talk to Chef Alexander about her class and look at her menu. Here's Jamira with more.
Here at Fenger, there are 2 programs providing students with skill sets that can benefit teens in their adult lives. The culinary class, instructed by Miss Alexander, has been here at Fenger High School for the last 2 years and continues to teach teens the importance of fresh eating and a window into a career that's becoming more and more extinct.
Hey, do you guys smell that? Just down the hall from our studio, you can smell the food from Miss Alexander. She let us get a sneak peek at what is cooking on the menu. Come on, let's take a look.
Miss Alexander for the last 2 years has given students the opportunity of cooking for themselves and for their families. Cooking at home is a healthier way of eating because of how it is prepared. Here is Chef Alexander talking to us a little more about the course she has provided and a sneak peek into their final project.
My name is Chef Elena Alexander. My first cooking job was in 1988. It's almost 30 years. What started me off on it was, I had a light bulb moment when a recruiter came to my high school and was like, hi, we're a culinary college. And I went, you need a degree in that? And from that point on, I've been in it and have not left. Everything I do is food. I've always had an idea that if I ever got open, I would have some kind of internship with my business. Since that has not yet materialized and come together, I had the opportunity was granted for me to teach in this setting, and I don't think I'm gonna stop teaching. I really like it. Final project is a chef challenge. Last semester was the first time I tried that idea with them. They really got into it. Each team is going to be given a list of pantry items that they can use and a theme. This term is going to be a trunk party. So they have to figure out what to include, what not to include, and have a central theme for the whole thing.
So the next time you think about picking up some food at the local restaurant, remember the healthiest food you can eat is created by your own hand. Back to you, Asia.
Green Corps is a citywide teen employment program that hires youth around the city and teaches about urban agriculture, forestry, green infrastructure, and biking and just green industry in general.
I'm going on bike rides to different gardens, learning about different plants and so forth.
Well, the present of Green Corps is to, inspire young people from communities around Chicago that sometimes get fewer resources to go into green industries. And so what I see the future of it being is educating people who are in communities that are environmentally attacked, like, in terms of like water or bad food or in terms of air quality, and inspiring those youth to kind of take charge and take back their communities to make them healthier and safer and more green.
What actually got me involved in Green Corps is a chance to mentor kids.
The benefits of healthy eating are, I couldn't name them all for you. It's everything. It helps with behavioral, it helps with your mood, just like physical ability, longevity of your life, just like overall happiness and not feeling tired, especially in the summer when it's hot. And it also like wards off other diseases like diabetes and hypertension and heart failure.
Fashion changes like the seasons of the year. Here's Asia on the latest trend for the upcoming school year. Also, Yvonne will be talking about the latest music in hip-hop.
Fashion changes each season. Burberry, Adidas, Nike, and more are switching up the trends. Don't you want to stay relevant in your style? Brown mirrored sunglasses are perfect. They're not too brown and they're completed with mirrored frames. You can find these cute shades at Forever 21, Nordstrom's, and Urban Outfitters. Ripped distressed jeans are still at the peak of the list in fashion. You can do them yourself or you can purchase them at your local retail.
Our trending music topics is Chief Keef, Lil Herb, Drake, Kodak Black, Lil Uzi Vert, and Wild Fan Lucha. I'm pulling my information straight from the XXL freshman class 2016. From newbies to veterans, there's something to satisfy every kind of hip-hop fan. Royce the 5'9" allowed his introspective side shine on layers while the Flatbush Zombies evolved from their mixtape run for a Sonic Trip 3001, a laced odyssey. Lil Boosie proves he is no wash-up. The veteran rapper with In My Feelings and Kanye West with The Life of Pablo showcases why they are still one of the most talked about lyricists in hip-hop. Our highlighted album for today is Lil Durk's 2 Times album. In an interview with XXL, Durk explained the title of his album as being a second chance, and also refers to his 2 sons who follow his lead, he says. As Durk grapples with leaving his old life behind to create a better one for his sons, he creates the most gratifying and moving work yet. Back to you guys.
Technology is a booming business. Things are becoming more advanced, from new phone capabilities to advancement in drone performance. Here is Jamira and James with more about phones and drones.
Drones are becoming more needed in our world today, from dropping off packages to people saving and delivery charges, to becoming a sport for people of all ages to enjoy competition. We got a chance to talk to the community of the Chicago Drone Group to see the latest in drone technology, what they are using it for, and what they see in the future of droning. Check it out.
Amazon has stated that their new delivery drone will be on display 2017. Believe it or not, drone racing is becoming a professional sport. we caught up with the Chicago Drone Group, and this is what they had to say.
All right, so my name is Nicholas Martinez. I'm actually the student government president of Northeastern Illinois University. I've been droning for about 6 months. I got here Typhoon H. The reason why I drone is because I love videography, I love photography, I love all that stuff. And with this camera, with this drone, we have a 4K camera and we have dual controllers. So generally what I do is I'll have one controller actually flying the plane. I'll have another one actually controlling the camera. Another great thing about this drone in particular is if one of these props go out, it can fly on just the other 5 props. And also, for convenience, boom, they just go down just like that, you know? It's pretty easy. It's a great camera, Typhoon H.
I'm Robert.
How long is your class?
My drone is a DJI Phantom 3 Pro. It's white, it's got gold stickers on it. It's pretty light, flies pretty fast, it's reliable. That's what I like. I crashed it a couple times, rebuilt it, no big deal. It's still flying very well. Yeah, and it's my first one. It's my first drone. I've only been at it for over a year and it's served me pretty well. We'll see where I go from here. The Steadicam's capabilities, I think the 3-axis stabilization is huge, and the price point to enter that without having to make the investment of a Steadicam I thought was very competitive and very attractive for me.
Droning is coming to a whole new level, and if you really want to get into it, it's a great field and it's expanding rapidly, so I really encourage you to get into droning.
We're already hearing about using those to fight fires or provide, information to remote areas. I've seen another drone that is built in a cage, and it can get into mines, it can get into very tight and dangerous situations that people can't normally get into, and it provides, real-time video for whoever is operating it. I think that's a huge thing that'll help people in a lot of different industries.
I think the future of droning is going to really be getting videography. You look at like all these Hollywood movies and all these things that are going on in Hollywood, and you think, oh man, I wish I had a helicopter with all that. You don't need all of that anymore. Technology is getting so great that all you need is about $500 to $1,000, and you can get all the footage you need, everything you want, and you could become a pro. You could be the next person filming for Hollywood.
So the next time you see a drone flying around your community, don't think it's there just to invade your privacy. Drones are becoming more and more popular to make your life very much easier. Back to you guys.
Christian Fenger High School first opened its doors in 1893, named after a Danish surgeon, and through these halls have been some interesting people. Some of them you may know already. But did you know Elliot Nash, chief investigator of the Probation Bureau and leader of the famous team of law enforcement agents nicknamed the Untouchables, found his early beginnings right here at Fenger? Here is Mr. Peter Alter to tell us more about his beginnings, his writing of The Untouchables, which became a best-selling novel and movie, and also his battles with what he fought so hard against early on.
My name is Peter Alter. I work at the Chicago History Museum. I'm a historian and director of the Studs Strickle Center for World History at the Chicago History Museum. Who is Elliot Ness? Elliot Ness is a lot of things. He graduated from Fenger High School in 1921. When he was here, he was on the debate team. He liked to dress very well, and so sometimes his classmates would make fun of him, so they called him sometimes Elegant Mess or Elliot Mess. He didn't have a lot of friends while he was here because he was very focused on his future. Before he came to school here at Fenger, he went to Pullman Elementary School, which isn't too far away. There were 6 kids in his family. He was the son of Norwegian immigrants, and his mom and dad owned a bakery in Roseland, and he worked at the bakery. After he graduated from Fenger High School in 1921, he went to the University of Chicago for school and studied law and business. And then after he graduated, He actually worked in the factories over when there were factories in Pullman. And then after that, he went to work for a company based in Atlanta, Georgia, that looked into people's financial history. And he didn't find that very interesting. So by the late 1920s, he was working, still living in Chicago and actually living with his mom and dad here on the far south side in Roseland. He went to work for the federal government, fighting prohibition, or the fighting for prohibition, the enforcement of prohibition. And that's who Elliot Ness was up to that point.
Lastly, in sports, Russell Westbrook signed a 3-year deal worth more than $85 million with a player option in 2018, league sources confirming with ESPN.
2 years after a Grizzly injury, Paul George returned to the Olympic basketball team in hopes of winning the gold. George does not want to think about the night in August 2014 when he suffered his gruesome, career-altering compound leg fracture, which happened when he chased down James Harden for a transition block. With the Olympics starting up in 2016, it's obvious gymnastics is a fan favorite. Here is Tisha on the history of gymnastics.
What is gymnastics? Gymnastics is the sport that contains your balance. Gymnastics is a sport involving the performance of exercise requiring strength, flexibility, balance, and agility. Gymnastics involve for exercise used by the ancient Greeks that include skills for mounting and dismounting a horse and from circus performance skills. Back to you, Jamira.
Dwayne Wade is not shocked that Kevin Durant signed with the Golden State Warriors. The newly signed Wade sits down with an ESPN host to talk about the well-known trade around the league. Now here's Duke and Royal with the hot topics in the locker room.
They're playing basketball. We love that basketball.
Welcome to the locker room. I'm Roy. I'm Duke. And today we're going to be talking about Paul George versus Kevin Durant.
Is Kevin Durant better than Paul George?
Duh.
No.
Way better.
No.
Yes.
No, wrong. Tell me why you think.
He way bigger. Man, he better.
Right, see, you ain't got no bullet points.
Cause I don't got to.
Paul George, he made the USA team. Kevin
KD
Durant did
too.
too. Alright. But he scored more points than KD.
No, we don't.
And KD need help with his team because he ain't nobody. Paul George came off an injury, dog.
Okay, but he got a team though. He got help. He got Monte Ellis.
That's not no team.
I was gonna say that.
That's not no team, bro. Mal Turner is not his team, bro.
Yes, that is.
No. George Hill not his team.
Yes, he is.
No,
What
he not.
is 20?
No, 20, right? We're back. Let's see. Well, who Kevin Durant got? Westbrook, Ibaka, Adams.
Okay, but
And look,
KD is
how they let Golden State come back?
But the Pacers didn't even make it nowhere. They ain't go nowhere.
They did make it, but they lost.
They got put out how they get put out the first round by Toronto?
It's Toronto. They got more team.
You talking about the Thunder, but
bro, Mal Turner don't like hitting the weight room, bro.
You talking about the Thunder, but the Pacers got put out the first round.
Okay, but the Pacers had a chance to go to the finals again.
They had a chance, but they didn't.
Right, because who choked? Who's the one who choked? Right, you know who he was.
I don't know.
Right.
It don't matter though, because look, the Pacers didn't go nowhere.
Bro, you tweet.
Oh, you tweet.
No, you tweet. Thank you for watching the locker room. That's our argument for today, and that's all we got.
And that is our broadcast for today. We hope you enjoyed it.
See you next time on WASM Fenger High School.